let's go back to the Gilly Crane hotline. Line number 8 is Bryan Barrett of WGNS in Murfreesboro. He called the Oakland Siegel game, and early on, Bryan, that game was closer than we expected.
Well, it was. Everybody's going to get, Oakland is used to getting everybody's best shot, and Siegel came out with all cylinders firing there. And what was weird about that game, we looked up and it was scoring back and forth, and it was like, a really long first quarter. We played 40 seconds, and there were 3 touchdowns. So it was kind of back and forth early on, but turnovers began to cause problems for Siegel, and then Oakland scored 36 unanswered to run away with it after that.
Well, we're talking to Rusty Reed of WLI. I'm sorry, we're talking to Bryan Barrett.
Don't call me names.
I'm telling you, the next time you see me, you can spit on my shoes. I'm telling you, you owe me for that. We're talking to Bryan Barrett of WGNS, and it wasn't a game that you covered, but everybody's kind of buzzing a little bit about this Blackman loss at Cookeville. I don't know what game you've got scheduled for next week, but that kind of muddies the water a little bit at the top of the district, doesn't it?
It does, and I think for a team like Siegel, that kind of opens things up a little bit, keeps them kind of in the hunt here a little bit, because they still have Cookeville to play, and if they could pull out a win there, could really muddy the waters up. With Riverdale and Blackman game looming here in a couple of weeks as well, that will make things interesting. But Cookeville here in this first year of the new region has said, Murfreesboro, we're going to kind of put you on notice here that we're here to play.
We're talking to Russ. I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. We're talking to Bryan Barrett of WGNS, Dennis Weaver, and I think it's Eric Keith sitting beside me.
What's in those brownies you've been eating?
It's cough drops. It's cough drops. It's getting me.
The menthol. Lozenge.
Yeah, it's a Ricola.
All right,
special cough drops.
And what game are you guys covering next week on WGNS?
Well, next week we've got Blackman and Stewart's Creek coming up next week.
What a good matchup!
It'll be a non-league matchup, but both teams coming off of tough losses, and should be an interesting game there. That's the game we have slated. Of course, Middle Tennessee also plays college football that night, so we've got a bit of a quandary we've got to figure out here this next week, but we'll figure out something here and do the best we can do with one station and 2 big games to cover.
And big win tonight for Syracuse, who defeated the number 2 team in the nation in Clemson. Also, MTSU's defeated Syracuse this year. So MTSU, by the transitive property, is better than Clemson.
Yep.
And should have that one of those 4 playoff spots, don't you think?
I would. It's only elementary. I see it the same way you do. Of course, that could be the cough drops talking, but I see it exactly like you do.
Well, I may have one of those cough drops then, but it just kind of shows. With you talked about the Cookeville win over Blackman and that game there in college football. That's why you play the game. You talked to me in the pregame show about Siegel and Oakland, and that's why you play. And it just takes a play or two, and I think parity kind of reigns king a little bit. There are a few teams a little head and shoulders above the rest, but everybody else is kind of in the same bucket.
Bryan, we appreciate it as always. No matter what I call you, you're still the best, my friend. I love you. I'll talk to you next week, okay?
That sounds like a plan, and thanks for joining us, Rob.
Ow! It's Friday Night Thunder.